Yes, and hi Donna and Nicole.
Huh.
Feel free, Donna, I know you're on your phone, so feel free to stop anytime if you have questions. I am going to share my screen just to help follow along, but I know that you probably, I don't know if you can see it or not. So, but Nicole, feel free to use that chat function if you have questions, and we can kind of just make this a very personal conversation since it's just four of us right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick.
And Donna, when you are back in front of a computer, this will be both on the PWG Facebook page and on our website. So you can go back to this recording anytime and rewatch it.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, Donna and Nicole, I mean, I always love my presentations to be interactive. Do you guys currently have a LinkedIn, or do you know about LinkedIn? I like to start base level.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I pulled up mine, Nicole, I know you can see it. So, you know, LinkedIn, I think, is sometimes an underused platform. I think everyone typically has a profile. Maybe they get on once or twice a week if we're lucky. But it's really a great online networking tool and a great accelerator for your career, and or if you're looking for a new job opportunity. So I'll go through some basics and we can get into more of the job accelerating conversation. But first and foremost, you know, making sure that your profile is set up with it. So on mine, I have my headshot from work, making sure that background is clean and you can see your face. I don't think necessarily a professional headshot is required, more making sure that you have a clean background, your face is facing the camera, that they can get a good sense of who you are and your personality through that photo. And for me, I have actually uploaded a background that's related to the industry I'm in. So we work in sports. So I uploaded a picture for my profile background that demonstrates that. LinkedIn has come super far as as its creativity and how you interact with it. So I would say years ago, people were very shy about showing more of their personality on LinkedIn. Now that's not the case, especially with some of the tools and additions LinkedIn's added to its platform. They really have made it, I don't want to say more casual, but they've made it more user-friendly, understanding that your personality integrates with your career and you're going to want to find a recruiter or a job that aligns with who you are as a person. And then filling out an extensive about section. So for me, they may not read all of it. So starting first and foremost with one or two sentences that talks about your skill set, your experience, something that if they just read those first 2-3 sentences, they'd have an idea of who you are. And then I go into personally some volunteer stuff that I do for the community and also talk about the degrees I have. For me, that's point pride for me, but I also want my employers to know that I'm active in the community that I care so deeply about, because I want my employers to value that and I want them to give me the opportunity to volunteer and find that that's a key component to a well-rounded, happy employee. So for example, the current employer I work with right now, we actually have volunteer hours. So similar to PTO hours, we have a bank of volunteer hours that we can use throughout our work week to volunteer at Dress for Success or another nonprofit in the city. So for me, that's a value add as an employee. So I keep that in my profile because I think it's very important. So I would encourage you as you're writing yours, do not feel that you have to stick just to career accolades. You know, adding in that personality that we talked about, similar with the profile picture, adding in some stuff about you that's important because that career and that employer should line up with you. And then very simply, just going to skim over, you know, adding your experience. I think it's very important to add a few bullet points of what you did in that company, but I don't think it's necessary to go in excess. I think you're going to cover a lot of that in the about section. So I wanted to just do a quick overview of the importance of filling out that profile. and making sure that it's robust and it's maintained to your specific skill set and what you're looking for out of your career. Another way you can approach it is if you know that you have a specific employer in mind, a specific position in mind, that you've looked through that application, you can adjust your profile to fit those keywords. That's important for recruiters that are looking for hire. So if you know for certain you want to work at a place that is about data management and maybe media, I'm just, making up a couple of things, adding those keywords into your about section and into your experience, that'll help recruiters find you quicker and also show that you have that skill set that they're looking for. So I want to hit pause real quick because I always am conscious that I talk fast and I talk long. Donna, do you have any questions before I move on?
No, not yet.
Okay, great. So, one thing I love about LinkedIn, and I'm stealing this from an author that is robust in LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is a platform where you can showcase your values. So it's very important when you're job searching and using LinkedIn that you know that you are a hireable person, right? You are someone that brings value to a company. And oftentimes, even when I talk about with students who I mentor who are like, well, I'm interviewing and, I'm really nervous. And I'm like, well, you're interviewing that company just as much as they're interviewing you. So I look at adding those value on your LinkedIn profile the same way. You want to align, I keep saying this, align yourself with that employer and make sure you have shared values. LinkedIn is the largest business-owned networking website. So, and I love that they say networking. So we'll get into that segue real quick. So the key thing with LinkedIn is we have our page, but we need to maintain it, and we need to maintain connections in our network. So there are a couple ways that you can do this. First is you can follow companies of interest to you. They can be national companies, international companies, they can be regional. Following those companies will allow you to stay up to date with what's happening with them and within the world. LinkedIn is a great place for content curation and content manifestation. So being able to log in, not only to make sure your profile is up to date, but then being able to scroll through and follow those companies that you're like, man, they really provided content today and it provided me knowledge that I didn't know, or perhaps a job that I didn't know as well. The second thing you can do is you can connect to groups. So for example, I'm part of the Ohio State Alumni Group. I'm part of LinkedIn Columbus. Those groups have people in there that are either like-minded like you and or maybe they're not like-minded like you, but they have a shared interest. You can then build your network that way. Additionally, you may find that they post jobs in those groups that you might not have otherwise seen. And the third way I always talk about is articles. So there's twofold with articles. When you're following these companies, when you're engaged in groups, when you're maintaining your connections within your network, 90% of the time, you're going to find that those people are producing content that is relevant to you and or relevant to you, commenting, messaging them, giving you an open door to start that conversation. So you can engage with them that way, or you can actually write your own content and publish it, which I think is also a great way to hone in on skills if you're interested in writing. It also gives you an opportunity to share that with your network and for them to appear that you're a thought leader in that space, and or they can be commenting for you as well. So again, companies, groups, and articles. So I know you can't see my page, Donna, but I'm showing, I follow a couple national sports companies and connections, and they post a ton of articles. So I'll typically get on, and my goal is to spend 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn. We all have other things we need to be doing, but I'll like, I'll comment, I'll share. Maybe I've done a lot of, there's a nice little share button, as most platforms have, that you can share. And if Donna, if you and I are connected and I was like, oh man, Donna mentioned to me this once, and I'm just going to send her, like, you can click that share button and it sends it in a private message. So, maintaining those connections, those contacts is very important. It's kind of the same as if you were at a networking event. You wouldn't just network with someone, get their business card, and never follow up again. Very similar to LinkedIn. You want to, check in with certain people, especially, Donna, like if you know that person works for a company you want to work for, you don't need to talk to them every day, but, maybe, a couple massaging, a couple conversations with them. That way that if there is a job opening, you might be more top of mind for them than if you hadn't. Yeah. Do you have any questions, Donna, while I'm running through all this?
So yes, I appreciate it though, the information.
Oh, good. I love LinkedIn. I'm a big fan of it. There's so many capabilities. So we talked about maintaining those connections that are important. But what I'll switch to now is that recruiting piece. A lot of recruiters are on LinkedIn. In fact, 93% of recruiters use LinkedIn. So that, to me, if you're talking 93%, is a huge number. And on your profile, you can actually click a button that says you are open to new opportunities. So like for me right now, I don't have that open because I'm working for a company that I'm very happy with. But you can flip that on in your profile, and that'll actually help the search for recruiters, say if they're looking in Columbus area, to know that you are open to new opportunities. With that said, there's a linkedin.com/salary. This is another great piece of content that LinkedIn has. So I have it pulled up right now, Donna, but basically what it is you go into, you can search a job title, you can search a company within the United States, and it'll help you evaluate those titles and those associating salaries. So we won't get into the whole conversation about what women make and what diverse women make, versus white men, but it'll give you an option to understand where you should be paid and compensated in your area. So it's linkedin.com/salary. Great tool for you to also use.
Okay.
And I'll make sure Jess has this. I know it's recorded, but I'll make sure Jess has some of these things as well for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then the other benefit to LinkedIn that I love is there is a tab on your profile just called Jobs. And I can speak from personal experience that over probably the course of 5 years, I've noticed that most employers have re-engaged with LinkedIn, and if their job is posted on Indeed or if their job is posted on their website, then it is probably 85% likely it's posted on the LinkedIn jobs board as well. And what's great about it is some of them will flip the switch where all you have to do to apply is share your LinkedIn profile, which to me is so great, because if you put all this effort into your LinkedIn profile, if you can just share it easily versus uploading your resume or typing in all your experience on the website for the company you're applying for, that's just an added benefit to me. You've already done the work, right? So it's the Jobs tab. You can search by skill, by company, by location. You can set up alerts where if you know you want to work in marketing in Columbus, Ohio, in the hospitality industry, you can set up an alert and it'll ping probably your email, if not definitely your profile, that there are new jobs in that space when they become available, so you can apply right away. And then what will happen is, what's nice is once you express interest in using the jobs function, it'll actually pop up in your notifications if there's new jobs available and what you're looking for. So it's a nice little nudge as well. So you can see there's several options that in my jobs tab right now, because I have a couple searches saved. It doesn't hurt to always have your the door cracked a little bit if there's something else but definitely utilize that jobs tab. It's wonderful. And like I said, I feel like more companies are using it than ever.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there any questions, Donna? That's like my big soup to nuts, go through.
No, so far, so good. I'm following you.
Okay. Okay. Jess, is there anything you want me to cover? I know she hopped off. Not sure if she's there, Donna. It might just be you and me.
Oh, okay.
So Donna, how often do you get on LinkedIn and how do you use it currently?
I usually get on, I get on there like maybe 3 times per week.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do utilize it, and also I utilize other things too. If I'm looking, I like to be thorough. I'm a thorough person, so I look at different sites and things like that, see what's going on. But I do get on LinkedIn. Yeah, I say about 3 times per week. See what's going on, any opportunities and of that nature.
And when you meet someone new, Donna, in a networking space, or maybe you're out and you happen just to meet someone, do you follow up with them on LinkedIn? Do you connect with them that way?
Yes, I do. Yes,
That's
I
great. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. So yeah, going back to that conversation we were having about maintaining those contacts, then, making sure you're kind of checking in, with them even after that initial connection is always important as well. But it sounds like, yeah, you're kind of a pro here, Donna. So
Well, I say that it's always room to learn.
yeah.
But I've gotten to a point where like networking and things of that nature was a little daunting. It was a bit challenging, but I've learned to get out my own way and to be more proactive. And it's just like having a conversation. I had to, I practice in front of a mirror and things like that, to gain more confidence. And then I had to come to realize I had to kind of face my fears and get out my own way. And it's just like having a conversation. So I've been doing pretty well with that. It's not a scary process as I thought.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, and what's nice too, especially in the world we live in right now, where we're obviously not having as many in-person things, as LinkedIn can serve as that networking for you in the meantime. But that's wonderful to hear, Donna. I mean, I don't know that it ever gets easier. There's days too where I'm like, if you're going to an event, you got to pep talk a little bit before you go. So. Great. Well, Jess, I had just asked, is there anything else you wanted me to cover? Donna and we've been chatting and.
Nope. I think, you got a private LinkedIn consulting session today, Donna. That is very valuable.
It is.
And it's
like
good to hear your voice too, Donna.
Yeah, it's always good to learn new tools. You never, there's always room to learn more. So I'm just opening up to the process, and then things change all the time. So you want to just stay abreast of everything that's going on too.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that salary before, Donna?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
Have you ever heard of that salary piece that I talked about before that LinkedIn offers?
No, I haven't. No,
Good.
I have not.
Good. Yeah, definitely utilize that. I think it's a little hidden gem that they have.
Yeah, that is. I didn't hear about. So when you said it, I was writing it down in the website and everything.
Oh,
so
good. Good.
Know
Yeah.
about it. So,
Good. Well, I will definitely give Jess some of these links. I'm sure she has your email. I have a couple articles that I referenced throughout. I can't take credit for some of this stuff, and there's much smarter people than me out there. But if Jess is interested, I can make sure that you get some of those links that you can just keep on your computer and keep as a refresher that you talked about. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Can you put your information on there also? That would be great if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely do that. But that way, yeah, it's definitely just one of those things. It sounds like you're doing it. Like we just have to go in a couple times a week and just sit with it.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you for joining us today. Yes, Donna?
I said thank you so much. I do appreciate it. It's a blessing. I got my own little one-on-one. So thank you again.
Well, it was so nice meeting you, Donna.
Yes. I hope when all this is over, we can meet face to face. That would be great.
I love that. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So you have a good day, okay? Be blessed and be safe.
You too, Donna.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, bye.